Uh, yes. Good morning. Uh, this is an early morning, and I've had something on my mind because it's a subject that keeps coming up over and over again, and that is about concerning black women about their hair, uh, about having low self-esteem because they change their hair. They wear weaves and braids and all those types of altercations that to beautify themselves. And black women are beautiful even without those things. Um, Actually, if we started to shape up and spruce up what is natural, yeah, we would be even more beautiful. But then a lot of black women don't like short hair. They want a long covering. And so they do what they feel is sufficient to them. And that's okay. It gives them joy. But what is to the excess is spending a lot of money on it and changing it over and over to blonde, to red, to purple, to blue. I mean, that's excessive. We should not be putting so much time into the plaiting and braiding of our hair. We should choose wisely a style that is simple and work it. So when we go overboard, yes, it becomes noticeable and it becomes a problem to many. It becomes offensive. But getting deeper with this, because there's a root to this unrest. And the root of this started decades, centuries ago. Because when you find that black women has always, and I'm talking about dark-skinned, nappy-haired black women, has been the pillar and the comfort and the clean place of a black man that came over on those ships that was in the countries in the slavery and in the after slavery, the Renaissance era, and then to the sharecropping era. What was in the houses, in those cabins, were the dark-skinned black woman with her 7 and 8 kids from the dark-skinned black man. And she was working with mama, washing the clothes, chopping the crops. And the black man was finding a way when he wasn't in the fields. He would go out and find the social life. He was the one that was allowed to venture out and find the social life. And when you look at it, the Cotton Club of Harlem, where only the light-skinned girls, the light-skinned black girls was allowed to dance on the stage. And so the black men came and they socialized among them. This is dark-skinned black men came and socialized among those people, and black women was at home with the babies. The same thing in the country parts. They had those juke joints and all those different things that black men would search out and find, looking for excitement, while his dark-skinned wife and babies was home waiting for him. Meantime, he was learning what was popular in society and what was eye candy for men who had a social life and who had climbed up the ladder, so to speak, who had jobs and was making money. Now there was a certain thing called passing. Passing was the biracial women who could pass for white. So the young girls went out into society, the young light-skinned, kinky, straight hair, they straightened it straighter and passed for white. So they became mistresses, and they were women who could move up the ladder and mingle with the white men, mingle among the white ladies, and have a better life. So do you think they wanted anything to do with their dark-skinned, napper-haired black cousins? No, because it would cramp their style. And so they went on and they passed and they prostituted themselves. And this is such as a case as the clubs in Harlem and all the juke joints that went on that could be found around the places in the different states and country parts. While the dark-skinned black woman was still holding base. She was not thought of as a woman to be brought into society and socialized. She was thought of as being undesirable. But I think in the minds, that was in the mind of the black men. Because I know if one of those dark-skinned wives had walked into one of those clubs, her black man would have beat her and sent her back home to take care of those children. Because he was onto something that was giving him a pleasure, or looking at what makes the system ticks. He was in shock at his findings. And so these light-skinned girls, they were living light-skinned privilege. And many, they was mean with it. Because as time went on, when black women still were allowed to mingle and came into the picture, because then some of the black men did start bringing their beautiful black women into the clubs. But they also had a mistress that was light-skinned. And a lot of these women, these light-skinned women, because of their light-skinned privilege and feeling that they were better, if they got into a fight with a dark-skinned woman, they had the audacity to call her an ugly black bee. But yet they were fighting for the same dark-skinned black man, which tells you it was not about her color. It was about the lighter-skinned woman having her light-skinned privilege. This is the demon that came in it had a beginning and it had surfaced. And it kept on surfacing until it blew out of proportion, as it is today. But then black power came in and changed that game some. But still, you still find that black men could be very mean, because in putting his black woman in place, because he still sees the dark-skinned black woman as his pillar, as his source. Because when he looks in the mirror, he sees him, and he looks at her, he sees himself. And he wants to keep her for himself. He wants to keep her hidden. So psychologically, he will try to put her in her place through insulting her and abandoning her, because he has not gotten at that, or he is possessed by the system that tells him he must have a certain type of eye candy on his arm to make him feel that he has made it, he has succeeded, and he can front and walk with the best of them. This is all psychological. It is not something that is truth. It is not truth to him. But it is a world that he have adapted to. And he's learning to make it real for himself. But if he really searched his heart, he'd see that he has lost grip on who he is, his origin. But nevertheless, they will not come back to what has got them idol worship and got them into the filthy lucre, the root to all evil, and that is earning power. When the black man became a man of earning power, then he had the white woman coming at him and the lighter skinned ones that had the light skin privilege coming at him, while he had a dark skinned one that had his children already. He left her holding the bag and went into the world and did his thing. And the world swallowed him up. We as black women, we know this. We know exactly what is going on. As you can see, a lot of the actors and movie stars and basketball players and all, they had wives before. And they were not light-skinned ones or white ones. They were the sister they grew up with, the sister that mama and papa knew, and the neighbors knew. She was the root, grassroots woman. But they left her for what was the standard of this wicked system. But that's okay. It's going to be set straight, because the real black kings are waking up to what is spirit and what is truth, and they're gaining back their power. And they will still find that their pillar is still there, that their love, their first love, never left them, never betrayed them. And so let it be. This is wisdom. This is Betty Collier, and wisdom speaks.